Hello folks, and Christoph the Polish Geek is finally back from a 2-week vacation in France with my sister, niece and nephew. And so, welcome to the movie review of Freakier Friday, which is a sequel to the Freaky Friday of 2003. And I have to say, I already said it in the video short I did when I saw the movie, and I have to say this is by far the best Disney live action movie in years, and it's probably the best Disney live action movie since 2018 Christopher Robin. But don't get the wrong idea, Disney isn't saved by no means, because as I already said in another video, as well as the video short I did on Freakier Friday, a jewel in the trash doesn't turn a trash into a box of treasure. You just take out the jewel, but trash remains trash. But the reason I think that Freakier Friday is the best Disney live action movie in years is because it had something that almost every single Disney live action movie, and animated ones for that matter as well, discounting some of the Pixar ones, it had something that all these movies lack, which is a heart. The movie actually had a heart. When it comes to Western entertainment, we live in the dark era of unnecessary pointless sequels, remakes, reboots that no one ever has asked for, or spin-offs with little original ideas and little heart, almost no heart or passion whatsoever for what you're doing. But there are very little original ideas now. They're still around, but either they aren't common, or worse yet, they're absolutely not being promoted in favor of, again, unnecessary sequels, spin-offs, all that stuff. But another trend that's also started being common lately, and I say that's actually a least bad trend, in fact, some of the ones are actually quite good, is legacy sequels. Of all those trends, I think legacy sequels by far are probably the least offensive, and in fact, quite plenty of legacy sequels are actually quite good, actually. Not saying that I want now every movie to start having a legacy sequel, don't get the wrong idea, but of all those things, legacy sequels by far are the best probably. When Freakier Friday was announced, I saw the trailer and read the concept for it, I actually thought that Freaky Friday of all movies actually was just a perfect candidate for a legacy sequel, because I actually grew up with the original 2003 Freaky Friday. I was like 9 years old actually when the movie came out, and I remember watching it with my mother and my sister and loving it so much. And so honestly, Anna, having now a daughter of her own and swapping bodies once again, but this time she's the mother now, because in 2003 she was obviously the daughter who switched with her mother, but now she's experiencing the same thing, except that from the different angle, because as I said, now she has a daughter of her own and swaps bodies with her, so she's basically experiencing the same thing but from a opposite angle. I thought that it was very much a perfect candidate for a legacy sequel, and I thought this was actually a quite good candidate for a very interesting story, especially that lots of fans who grew up with the original 2003 Freaky Friday, plenty of the people that were teenagers back then are actually now full-grown adults with children of their own. So they actually probably relate to Anna now more than ever now, being teenagers like her back then and now being full-grown adults with children of their own. So yes, I thought that Freaky Friday of all movies was simply a perfect candidate for a legacy sequel, and I also admit that. But first I'll say, I personally don't have any children of my own. I really wish to have someday, but gotta find the right woman first. But yes, I'll also admit I'm a sucker for a body swapping concept. I don't know why, but the whole body swapping concept is something that just really appeals to me, and my favorite body swap movie by far is Face Off with Nicolas Cage and Johnny Travolta. Like, this is a really excellent action movie, but we're getting off topic here. But yes, I love this whole concept of body swap. So I admit, I was kind of also hoping for another Freaky Friday remake set in the modern day, because also 2 years ago I actually watched the original 70s Freaky Friday and ended up liking it quite a lot, but I prefer the 2003 one largely because I grew up on that. So yes, I was also hungry for another Freaky Friday remake, because I always considered this type of movie that could actually be remade every few years, depending on the time period. But honestly, making instead a legacy sequel to the 2003 version, which was always my favorite one, and then just putting Anna once again, but this time she's the mother, as I've already been saying, I thought was even better idea than the remake. But did Freakier Friday live up to my expectations? Did it actually end up being good? And spoiler alert, well yes, I've already been saying, this is the best Disney live action movie in years. And it actually had a heart, which almost all the Disney movies now lack. Some would say that the story is pretty much a rehash of the first one, but I disagree. Yes, there are plenty of very similar elements, and it's clear that they are kind of using similar pattern in that Anna is marrying a man and her daughter isn't particularly happy about that, but the movie chooses instead to give its own unique take on it, in that the man has a daughter of his own, and Anna's daughter, and I believe Harper was Anna's daughter's name, yeah, Harper I think, and her new stepsister don't really like each other, but then it gets even more innovative, because Anna's stepdaughter also swaps bodies with Anna's mother, played wonderfully by Jamie Lee Curtis. And I did feel this other body swap wasn't particularly necessary, and the large reason it happened was to include Jamie Lee Curtis in the movie. Pretty much that, which isn't necessarily a bad idea. After all, the heart of the first movie were indeed Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan. So yes, it did feel like the other body swap happened just for the sake of Dr. Coleman, Jamie Lee Curtis being in the movie, but ultimately I don't think that was particularly a bad thing. Even if a little unnecessary, the movie could easily work with just Anna and her daughter swapping bodies, but no harm done. One of the things I see almost everyone praising about Freakier Friday are the performances of Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan, and with that I have to agree. Like, their performances are still just wonderful, and these are very much recognizably pretty much the same characters, and both actresses are jumping into the roles like they never left them, and the chemistry between the characters also is still great. So yes, with that I agree. They are still performing very well, but that's really not the heart of the movie for me. The true heart of the movie though is the mother-daughter relationship of Anna and her daughter Harper. Like, I in general really love those type of like parent-child relationship stories, and then them in the end realizing how much they really love and mean to each other. Very much so, yes, this is really the true heart and soul of the movie. I just so much love the mother-daughter relationship between Anna and her daughter Harper. Again, where it was gonna go was kinda predictable, actually not kinda, very predictable, but then again, stories like that are very much meant to be predictable. Sometimes a feel-good family movie is all you need, and predictability is not necessarily a bad thing. And I also have to say, there was quite a lot of nostalgia bait in this movie, but then again, it doesn't mean it's always a bad thing. Like, nostalgia bait is not bad when it's not at the expense of the story. In fact, I say, this movie actually used nostalgia when it made sense story-wise, and was all the better for it. Like, I don't like when nostalgia bait is like practically a replacement to really make you like the movie when nothing else really works. But here, like, the overall story and the chemistry between the characters all worked wonderfully well, and the nostalgia was a great companion to all of it. But do I think this is a movie for everyone? No, absolutely not. In fact, I think if you didn't care for a 2003 Freaky Friday, then I don't think you're gonna care for this one either. But I think if you're a fan of the 2003 Freaky Friday and are now a full-grown adult who loved it in childhood, then I think this is very much a movie for you, especially if you yourself are a parent now, like, because I also think this is a perfect movie to watch with a mother-daughter. Like, if you are a mother and have a daughter, then I think you very much should take your daughter and watch this movie with her. Just as I think that 2003 Freaky Friday was to the mothers and daughters of that generation. So yes, if you're someone that loved the original 2003 Freaky Friday, then I think you should enjoy Freakier Friday. And same way, if you're a mother with a young daughter, then I think that Freakier Friday is also very much a movie for you. But if you didn't care for the original 2003 one, then I don't really think this one is for you either. So ultimately, I think Freakier Friday is the best live-action Disney movie in years. The best one since 2018 Christopher Robin. Because, again, this movie actually had a heart. But at the same time, it's still very much not a movie for everyone. And as I said, those who didn't care for the original 2003 one or didn't grow up with it, I don't think it's a movie for you guys. But thank you folks for checking out this movie review. Press the like button, please subscribe to this channel, and I'll talk to you very soon in another movie review. Talk to you then, bye!